I wanted to record a quick video here today just about managing futures, basis, and carry. A lot of times we'll get questions about this from new customers or just people getting in the industry, and it's something that's a little more difficult to understand because there's some mechanics that are involved and it's a little more complex. But overall, hope that this kind of simplifies some of the stuff here. So I just wanted to look at 2018 corn, the 2019 contract with the flooding and everything that went on made the carry a little bit different than normal, but this would be more of a normal situation. So just utilizing the seasonal time frame for a hedge where you'd be going out and locking in the futures price back in April of 2018, not using the perfect high, but just say, for instance, you were able to lock in your futures price around that 415 December 2018 futures, and like I said, just kind of a normal seasonal sale. So at that time frame, you had harvest basis. If you were just going to lock in a harvest contract at 35 cents, just using an average basis, could be narrower or wider depending on your facility, for a 380 cash price in that example. So the next thing, looking forward is the carry aspect would be that spread between, we're going to look at the March futures in this example. So it'd be that spread between March and December. So March futures minus December. And when people refer to carry, that's what they're talking about, is just that spread between. It's basically what the market is willing to pay you to store your grain versus needing it up front. So if the carry is narrower, the market is needing grain up front. If it's wider, it's going to pay you more to store your grain to deliver to the market later on in time if the market has a voice. So at that time frame, using a real life example in 2018 in April, the December futures trade in 415. The March futures trade in 422, and so using another basis example, maybe you're looking at like a January delivery basis of a 30-cent basis out there, just a little bit better than harvest, not paying a lot that far ahead of time at the elevators is a lot of time you see, and so that would give you a 392 cash price delivered in January of the next year. So not a terrible cash price by any means, but just want to go through managing it to try to maximize the futures, the carry, and the basis. So as I said, that 422 minus 415 December futures leaves a 7-cent market carry. Pretty narrow. A lot of times to March, you want to be out there in that 12 to 15 cent range. We want to look to wait for that carry to get a little wider and maximize it, like I said before. So market does what it normally does. Makes that kind of seasonal drop into the September, October timeframe, getting closer into harvest, and backs off on futures. So at that same time frame, October 30th, you're looking at a 365 December futures price. So the market has fallen back there. Not the perfect low by any means, but it's fallen back there into that more seasonal time frame. And March futures didn't exactly fall as fast, and so they fell down to 377 at that time frame, March futures. So that's looking at that 377 again minus the 365 would be that carry now widened out to 12-cent market carry. And so this is where the mechanics of the actual rolling the hedge, and a lot of people use the term rolling. It's just terminology. Basically, it's getting out of the December position and reestablishing a position in March because you want to stay sold the market because you hedged the price off the December futures. The market fell back, and at the time the market was falling, since you had your product hedged, all you really cared about was the carry. You didn't necessarily care about the futures. You just cared about what that carry did and how you're going to maximize the value of your bin. So you have that 12-cent carry marked in. Now here comes the rolling 415 December sale that you originally put on, and a 365 December price at the time that you buy out of that contract, or the elevator, your hedge in your hedging account, your third-party marketer, whatever it may be. The mechanics are all the same, and so that represents a 50-cent hedge gain. And so that hedge gain belongs to the producer or the person that hedged. And, basically when they're going to go out there and reestablish their position in March, it's going to be added on top of that. So at that time, you got out of your December sale by buying it back, and then you went out there and resold the March futures at 377. But you have to add your 50 cents of hedge gain on top of that, which puts you at a 427 March futures. And so the other way of looking at this, a little bit more simplistic as you're doing it, went through the mechanics, is you had your original 415 December hedge price. You went ahead and you added 12 cents of market carry on top of that, and that's where you get to your 427 futures position. So now that we've talked about the futures and getting out there to March, which you can do this out to May or July and just continue to add carry. It all depends on logistics and when you need to move your grain, when you need cash flow, obviously. But looking at managing basis. So we had that original basis up there at a 35-cent harvest basis or a 30-cent January delivery basis. Now the crop's in the bin, and we've been able to move out there to January timeframe, and things have narrowed up there. The facility is starting to need grain again, and so they narrowed their basis to 20 cents. And so at that time, you can, if you feel comfortable with it and that's what you're going after, you can set that 20-cent basis on your 427 March futures, giving you a 407 cash out of the bin delivered in January, just using a normal circumstance here, not in the outlier years. And you compare that versus, if you just sold it for cash at harvest time, obviously you have storage costs and costs of managing the hedge to arrive or the futures position involved. But if you just stored it at harvest or delivered it at harvest, it'd be 380 cash if you made that forward contract. Or if you went ahead and sold it off the March contract originally for cash, that 392 cash, position. So overall, this is just a very simple example of how you do it. It's a normal market here. This was a real life example of what happened in 2018. It's what we do for our customers. It's what we'd like to do for more customers. So if you do have any questions about it or would like us to walk you through it or certainly have us work with this on your operation, feel free to reach out anytime. The office number here for me is 402-434-2410, or you can catch me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @ClintDuis. That's ClintDuis. Thanks for watching here, and let us know if you have any questions.